Happy New Year, everybody. 2024 is officially here. Can't wait to see how this year is going to play out in tennis. We know it's going to be an exciting one for sure with the Olympics being this year, a little bonus of a tournament there. It's going to be a really fun one to watch. And, of course, obviously, we have our 4 major championships, our WTA, ATP finals, all that good stuff. But we also get the return of some players here in 2024. And today I want to actually talk about Naomi Osaka because she's returning this year. And that is a major thing for the sport of tennis. I'm so excited to see her back in action. She's a great representative of the sport. She's so talented. Obviously, 4-time major champion. Going to be playing here in the Australian Open on January 14th. That tournament gets started. A tournament that she's won before. So a lot of great things to look out for. And I guess, this video is more kind of my just thoughts, reactions, preview kind of how things are going to turn out for her here in 2024. And I guess we're going to start talking about this the last time that we saw her out. And let's be honest, right? Last time we saw her, things weren't going so good. She was mentally worn down. All of that, I think, is behind her now. She's had some time off, some real good time off, too. She was pregnant later in the later part of 2023. She gave birth to her daughter. So first off, congratulations, Naomi Osaka. That's amazing. And I'm sure, obviously, I've seen this time and time again throughout sports where once you have a child that's born, your life, and for most people too, right? Life has a brand new meaning. Things are in a new perspective. I'm sure we're going to see all of that from her. I'm sure she's going to be asked about it at some point. I'm sure she's going to be speaking about it. I'm sure there's going to be specials done throughout the course of tennis season where she talks about all that type of stuff. So we can kind of react to those as we kind of see those. But at the end of the day, all that matters, though, is the results that we're going to see from her between those white lines. So let's kind of talk about the year here as a whole. And the thing is, this is going to be a tough one early on, right? First off, I guess the fact that she's opening on hard courts here in Australia is good for her because we know that's her bread and butter on those hard courts, as she's a 4-time major champion, winning all those majors on the hard court surfaces. We know she's had those struggles at the French Open, at Roland Garros. She's had the trouble on the grass at Wimbledon, but the hard court, she's really been settled in and dialed in. So how are things going to go, though? That's the thing. And for me, I don't care what sport we're talking about here. I don't care if it's tennis. I don't care if it's football. I don't care if I'm working my other job covering the UFC and mixed martial arts. Usually, more often than not, when there's a layoff involved, it's a struggle at first because there is something for that live action, something for that pressure that you feel in those moments. And some people do rise above it. Some people don't have any sort of bad side effects from their long layoff, but more often than not, we see it. And for Osaka, the fact that she's been off, she's going to end up with some tough draws maybe right off the bat. And I'm sure, the girls she's going to be facing are going to be saying, oh my God, I got to play Naomi Osaka already. But same thing on the other side. I'm sure Osaka is going to be sitting there saying, I don't want to have these big matchups this early on as I'm just trying to get my feet wet. So it's going to be an interesting tournament to see how it goes. The other thing, too, is in this time that she's been off, we've seen the rise of a lot of great women, right? We've seen Iga Swiatek has really taken the sport by storm, catching actually up to Osaka already. Right? She has 4 major titles. We have Aryna Sabalenka, who last year was, honestly, throughout the course of the 4 major championships, the most consistent player. I don't see her going away anytime soon. How about Coco Gauff? She won 50 matches last year, 38 of which were on hard courts, winning the U.S. Open Championship last year, setting herself up with a lot of momentum. We have Elena Rybakina, a great player there, a Wimbledon champion, Australian Open runner-up last year. Jess Pegula, WTA finals last year, making a great run, setting herself up with a lot of momentum. So a lot of great players in women's tennis, which makes the all their tournaments so exciting to watch. So this is going to be a tough one for Naomi Osaka early on. I really do feel that. If this tournament was later in the year, I think we could have a little bit more of a discussion how things are going to go as she settles in and gets used to, just the speed of playing again and getting used to playing the sport again here. Obviously, I know she's been practicing, but just getting those live reps is really going to be something. So for me with Naomi Osaka, don't be surprised if the Australian Open doesn't go as planned. There's not a fairy tale moment here, and maybe she even does suffer an early out. I'm not saying that's going to happen. She has all the talent in the world to make a deep run in it. That's not what I'm saying. But for Naomi Osaka, let's really pay attention to the later part of the year. I think that U.S. Open time is going to be a special moment for her. We're past, your clay season, your grass season. You're going to be all hard courts the rest of the way. You're going to have that now pretty much full year under your belt of getting yourself back up to speed, so to speak. So I think she can make a lot of noise really late in this tennis season. I think there's a very good possibility we could see her in the top 10 at the end of the year. We could see her in the WTA finals, final 8 players at the end of the year. But it's going to take a full body of work. Just for this Australian Open early on, might want to pump the brakes if we're going to see her run there or not. But she's such a talented player. We are definitely in for a great season. The fact that we have her back, it's going to be exciting to see how things play itself out. But for me, just here in the early part of 2024, I'm looking for her at the later part of this year. Things might be a little rough early on. We're going to see how all that plays out. But still, nonetheless, it's great to have her back. I hope she's mentally fresh, ready to go. And I can't wait to see her in the mix with all these great players like that I've mentioned before. It's going to be a fun year, and I'm glad she's going to be a part of it.